Hi everybody, Norman Van Aken here with the Treasure Book series. We are back with the Treasure Book series, and this is going to be a three-parter at one point in time, but a three-parter implies there's going to be three parts. The first part is going to be from this book here, Saveur. Are you familiar with that magazine? Everybody that loves to cook should be familiar. Saveur Cooks, Authentic American. That's the title of this one. The title of this one is Authentic French, and the title of this one is Authentic Italian. I have been a huge fan of Saveur Magazine since they came out, which is 1993. Actually, go ahead, camera lady, take a look at the magazines. Four people started this magazine. Colin Andrews, my friend, Dorothy Kalins, Christopher Hersheimer, and Michael Grossman. Okay, come on back over here. Let's take a look at Saveur and Authentic American. Okay, as you can see, these are big books, oversized, if you will, but they need to be because there's a ton of material. I love the introduction. Right off the start, you get a sense of how photography is so important in this book. Introduction: we are all immigrants here, or the children of immigrants, even those Native Americans whose ancestors walked down from Siberia. I don't think it could be more timely than that. 1993 is when the magazines began to come out. This is almost a double-page spread of these women cooking in Maine. They're cooking lobsters on the rocks. Talk about farm to table or boat to table. This is right there on the shoreline. This is important. Gives you the real gist of this book and why it's a treasure book. The truth is that Americans can be wonderful cooks, energetic, imaginative, and solidly grounded in sound technique. Because we have inherited a plurality of processes, tastes, and traditions, we are not slaves to any one of them. The stylistic tyrannies of many Asian and European cuisines were left behind, along with harsher, more literal tyrannies. As a result, we have become great culinary tinkerers, happily inventing and redefining dishes. Long before anyone had heard of Pacific Rim or fusion, we'll come back to that, cooking, we were assimilating and adapting flavors not just from our own ethnic backgrounds, but from all over the world. So that chow mein, gnocchi with pesto, chili rellenos, and Swedish coffee bread, can truly be considered every bit as American as baked beans, seafood gumbo, fried chicken, and apple pie. At the same time, ironically perhaps, but not unreasonably, we've also developed an appetite for the traditions of the past and sought them out in our own family histories or borrowed them from others. Realizing that we're not obliged to observe the foodways of our ancestors, we voluntarily embrace them, finding another kind of culinary freedom in reviving old dishes. Well, the fusion word came up, so since I'm the author of that word, I'm just going to touch on it. I never have said that fusion cooking was new. I just felt that that term was a smart and capable term regarding and agreeing 100% with what is being said here. We won't dwell on that too much. The photography is just the best. I love the expression on this gentleman's face. But let me see what what there wasn't and what we believed there ought to be was a magazine, when they were creating this now, that considered food in a larger context, a magazine that celebrated the world's great and good dishes, both casual and elaborate, but that also revealed where they came from, who first made them, and why. Information of this kind, it seemed to us, was at least as important to the integrity and authenticity of a dish, and by extension to how good it would taste, as the number of teaspoons or this or ounces or that involved in its successful manufacture. To put it in another way, we wanted to create a magazine about the multitude of ways in which food is connected to just about everything. And that is why this magazine speaks so much to me. I'm holding a book, but this book was put together from the magazines. The magazine is now back out. Magazines have had a tough time over the years, as we know. Some of the great ones, like Gourmet, completely went away. But somehow or another, they figured out the economics of it, and they have it. But you can get this book through other sources than perhaps thrift books. That's the one I'm using most often these days. I looked it up. You can get this gigantic book that weighs a lot and has all this photography for about $8. I would definitely recommend you do that. This book is unlike these two. It features American food. I love food from all over the world, but I'm really happy to see things like the simplicity of this fried salt cod with garlic pepper sauce, which of course probably comes to us from places like Portugal. Shrimp and crab etouffee. Historical things like, here's the title, Don't Call It Cajun. Well, if that elicits your curiosity, you might want to have a book such as this one. When I was looking at this book earlier, I recalled another book on our shelves, this one here. I'm not going to do a treasure book right now on this one, but Mark Twain, he wrote so well about American food, and maybe many people don't know that, but in this particular book by Andrew Behars, I got this book, I know it's a first edition, I just saw that a minute ago, 2010, so 14-year-old book. I bet this book is available for not much money either. Different. It's a scholarly book, a historical book, not a recipe book, not a pictorial book like this one. Craig Claiborne, one of the great American food minds of the last century, once when asked what his favorite dish was, Craig Claiborne replied, anything with ground meat. As with any ground meat dish, meatloaf is best and lightest in texture when meat is handled as little as possible. So this is not an esoteric treatise going here and there. This is a book about the food that you can feed your family all the time across the generations. It's a really good little piece here on ketchup, but I don't want to keep you all day. We have other things to do, things to work on, things to indulge ourselves with, and not the least of which, to put some dinner on the table. I hope you'll go out and check Saveur Cooks and appreciate the hard work that has gone into these people who had quite a vision, and the vision continues today. All right, I'll talk to you again before long. I hope you have a beautiful night, and I'll see you later.